this black belt class today because, we have testing week for the color belts, but I have time to do some black belt classes with you guys as well. I do want to let you know that I did not originally have this class in my schedule, so I don't have a class super planned out, so I wanted to do something a little bit special. I'm going to be teaching bow staff today. Now, here's the deal. If you are a black belt, bow staff is not technically a part of your curriculum. I get it. If you're here for I need to get ready for bow strike testing, that's in 2 months from now, not the class for you. With that being said, bow staff isn't a fundamental part of a lot of training at black belt here, whether you're on demo team or even if you're just going for your next black belt. It's important that we know some weapon skill. So I'm going to teach you guys some things today. I'm going to teach you some strikes. I'm also going to teach you some combos. I'm going to teach you some cool things with bow staff. And if you ever go for your second degree and you need to work on these things, then you'll have some sort of foundation. Again, you need to do a musical form for your second degree, and why not do bow staff? Why not do the thing that you're comfortable with? Also, you may notice that the camera's at a bit of an angle today, right? I'm going to be doing things a little bit offset here. You get a little bit of a view of it, and I wish that was my whole idea or planned out here. The reason is because we did belt testing today, and there's a lot of people who are back here, and they were presenting their things, and I wanted them to show off. And if I just had the camera down over here, you wouldn't have been able to see as well or see all the kids performing things. So today it was because of belt testing. They won't always be like this. But for bow staff, it's actually pretty neat because you guys get to see a different angle of everything that I'm doing. Actually, better angle than what we typically do. So with all that being said, let's get started. Chariot, kunye. All right, so to get going, I'm going to get you guys with some basic strikes and comboing down. Understand that there are a lot of different strikes in bow staff, but when you're doing the creative form, you're doing a different setup, it's important that there's a couple of really good ones. Not that all strikes don't work, but there's a couple of things that really help you go fast while striking. So let me show you those strikes now. First, all I want you to do is take your bow staff, put it up in the air. One hand facing out, one hand facing in. Take the hand facing out, tuck it under your armpit. Now you can do this inverse here, or you can go here. Understand that if you're here, you're left-handed, and I can't relate because I'm not that. Everything that I show you still works, but it's just not what I do. I typically grab my left hand facing out, my right hand facing in, tucked under my left armpit. So to get going, all I want you to do is this. I want you to bring your bow staff up and strike down. Notice when I do this that my bow staff is pointing towards the ceiling and not down here. This isn't a strike, because what you're doing on this strike is you're hitting somebody in the chin, right? And if you go there, it doesn't hit. I'm striking up. Not only that, and while you're doing this, while you're practicing that, I still want you to go. I'll talk about the move. Just keep doing this as I'm talking, so you can get used to the motion. You're hitting between your shoulder blade and your neck, right here in that little soft spot. If you hit your shoulder blade, this part will bruise. Trust me, I did it too often. And if you bring it too far over, you're going to start to hit the top of your head. Which seems silly, but trust me, has happened to many kids before. So just hit that soft spot, come down. Practice hitting hard a couple times too, to show that it works. If you can't hit it hard, then you're going to start to go fast, and you're going to feel pain. Especially if you're hitting in the wrong spot, then hitting it with a little bit of force will show you that. It's kind of like hitting a bag. You hit it incorrectly, you'll know instantly. If you go light, you will never know that you're hitting in the wrong spot because it's like it doesn't hurt. You don't teach yourself. There's no consequences to your actions. Once you get this down, go to your other side and you can just take your left hand and tuck it under that way. Same thing, but other armpit up. If you're left-handed, it's going to this side instead of this side, but both work. And keep practicing as you're doing that. I'm going to pop up chat and bring it up on my screen. Oh, am I muted? No, it says I'm talking. Hey, Anthony, if you can't hear me. Oh, no, you're good. All right, okay, I'm getting my chat up. Keep switching sides when you're doing that. All right, now in just a second here, I'm going to show you. Oh man, I'll do it in a second. I'm going to show you guys how to combo this. So now we're going to work on some diagonal strikes. So I'm tucked under here. I'm going to go up, and I'm going to take the top of my bow staff and stick it under my other armpit. So I'm going up, other armpit. Once I'm there, I'm going to go up, other armpit. So you're doing this striking. Now, Greg Leonard, I see that you're in chat today. I also see that Nicholas McCoy is in chat today. Practice this move well. Because if you guys can get these moves down with power, your Tokyo is going to look fabulous. My biggest pet peeve in all of Tokyo, and again, I talk a lot. Keep doing your things. Don't listen to me. Just do your curriculum as I'm talking. One of my biggest pet peeves in Tokyo is when people go through like this. And they're not putting any power behind their strikes because they don't know how to put power. Do you guys get used to going fast here, hitting with force and power? Not only does your creative form look better, but your Tokyo looks better. So understand that we're doing some moves today, but this does translate to our Tokyo quite a bit. If you do it, you should be able to hear a noise. If I get closer to the microphone, you should be able to hear it. Nice. Keep going, keep going. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. There we are. Now I can see you guys talking to me, so if you're struggling with any of these moves, type it out in chat. I can always help you. I can figure out what you're saying and what you're doing. All right. So we've been doing this for a little bit now, right? So we understand the motion. Now I'm going to get into the next combo. Now this combo you will actually see quite a bit, and you'll see it in Tokyo. Well, Tokyo not so much, but you'll see one of the moves in Tokyo. So I want you to take your arm, put it back up, put it under your armpit. I want you to go side to side. Now as you do this, I really want you to focus on bringing your bow past center line. So if I'm facing more here, I'm striking, I'm hitting somebody in the chin across, or I'm hitting somebody in the ribs, but if I stop here, I'm not hitting anybody, right? I'm stopping before they strike. So I'm going side to side, and I'm hitting my tricep across. If you get this down, I want you to switch to your other side. Same thing. I'm opening my body up. Also, keep doing that as I'm talking here. I'm going to show you how to do that butterfly, that helicopter turn I just did. You guys are black belts, so I haven't really explained it. But since you guys are doing this, I can kind of explain it right now. It's simple. The helicopter turn that you do in your Tokyo or whatever you do, right? What you're doing is you're bringing your bow staff up, you're missing it, and then going around anyway. So you're doing this up diagonal, except instead of stopping here, you're just going to bring it higher up and strike. That's how you do that helicopter strike. Now in Tokyo, there's one more. You're going to do an extra rotation on one of the moves. What that looks like is instead of coming up here, you're going to rotate, and then you're just going to do one extra rotation. So you come around to sit it there, flip it one more time, and bring your other hand down. Yeah, you guys don't need to worry about that. I figure you already know how to do it. Cool, so you guys have been doing this quite a bit. Now let me show you the next cycle here. You're going to go side strike, flip over and down. Side, flip. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And you're going to go back and forth as you do this. Remember, on these strikes, you're still bringing them across center line. If I do it more towards you guys, when I'm doing this, I'm bringing it across. That's how I get my power. If you feel like, man, I don't know if this is right, throw it a little bit harder than what you're used to and see if it hurts. If it's hurting right here on your tricep, then you're doing it pretty well. You make it a little bit of bruises, right? But if it is, if you're doing this and it's hitting more towards your elbow and it hurts there, or it's hurting your wrist, you're doing this wrong. Your wrist should not hurt when you do this. If anything, you're slapping this part of your arm. And this part of your arm is pretty thick. You can hit it pretty hard and be fine. Feel free to also step forward and step back if you got this down. All right, so now that you're doing that, try doing this, stepping back. switching and doing whatever you want, but practice doing it while stepping, your up diagonals, your side flips. If you don't have a lot of room, you don't have to, but just practice getting your feet into it. So even if you're just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, switching feet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, getting your feet moving into it. Movement with bow staff is fairly big. All right, so I'm going to show you one more thing as you're doing those steps, and if this is easy for you, do this. If it's not, practice this a little bit more. You can also reverse both of these. When you reverse this, it looks exactly the same, but when you reverse this up diagonal, you're just doing this across here. Now, that tends to be very difficult for some people, so I tend not to teach this until we get a little bit later on, but y'all are black belts, you guys can rock it. All right. Now, let's get into some other striking. I'm actually going to show you a very advanced strike today. But before I do that, I want to go over the Tokyo combo. So I'm not going over blocks because the blocks are simple and you guys already know it. I'm going to show you how to make the Tokyo combo a bit flashy, make it a bit better. So you're here. I want you to practice striking through on all your strikes. So doing the things that we did, right? Because the Tokyo combo is pretty much made of everything we just did there, except with an extra poke and a sweep, right? So I want you to practice going through. So let's do this together. Side strike, strike down, up, down, side, side. Try that again, and then see if you can speed it up. Really hit with a little bit more force. One more time. Now try to poke, and all you're going to do is send this bow forward. What I always think about is, it's almost like I'm trying to shoot it out in front of me. It's more of a stab. It's a very difficult thing to do with fast and power, but just bring your arms back, your pool stick, shove it forward. So you're here, lean your body, get into it. Then as you come back here, you're going to drop this hand relatively down so you can get this large circular motion. Let me ask you guys and see if you know this. What is this used for? We say circle, we say a couple different things. What is it used for? And now, if you know what it's used for, I want you to picture you doing this and see how well it works out. This is a leg sweep. And if you try to pick up one leg, it's going to be hard and it doesn't really work unless you have this motion of lifting it up, catching somebody's leg, and then throwing them off balance. If you just go here, that doesn't work. You need to pick up the leg and circle it, sweep it. One small motion here doesn't work. So, you practice this, you practice the stabs, now let's put it all together. I want you to do this 10 times full force. And if you're starting to develop some bruises on your arms, that's making you an official bow staff person, right? It's kind of like, you know, you actually play guitar when you get calluses on your fingers. You know you lift weight when you get calluses on your blood blisters. I don't know, not blood blisters, you know what I mean. On your knuckles here. Front knuckles, I don't know what they're called. I'm not a medic person. So as you're going through it, your sign that you're a good bow staff person is that you start to hit and it starts to feel a bit sore. You should never have too many big bruises because if you strike in the right spots, there's not bruises, right? But it should feel a little bit because you're not used to it. Final time, you guys are probably finishing up on your 10. Woo. All right. So I should just some of the basic strikes today. We really worked on passing through, making them look good. A lot of those basic strikes are in Tokyo. The Tokyo combo, the flurry, even some of the more basic things like this. This is your diagonal strike, right? Now I'm going to show you what I would consider an intermediate strike. Now here's the thing. Before I go through this, I need to show you one other move. I need to show you actually a couple different moves. But let me show you what we're working up to. Doing an upward strike out of an inverse figure eight. So if you're doing here, there, down. This is going to be a really good combo for you to do in the future. So this is more of a creative form. It doesn't really help you out, Tokyo. It's just kind of fun. That's one thing I miss, on the online classes. It's always curriculum, 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 curriculum. When in real life, if I had a black belt class, I would do some jelly bean classes. I would work on some things. So today's more of a jelly bean class. You do get a little bit curriculum sliced within it. Also understand that we are going to have a bow rotation where we actually work on these things. It may actually be next cycle that we do bows. So this is going to help you in the future, but it's also fun for now. And if you're a second degree candidate, Nick McCoy, Greg Leonard, this is especially helpful for you. The rest of the McCoys, you can just kind of have fun with me. So now let's go through that intermediate strike. To do that, we need to work on inverse figure eights. Now you guys all know a figure eight at this point. I would assume everybody does. An inverse figure eight is the same thing going the opposite direction, and I know I just blew your mind, because if you've never done this before, that is not a thing that you're used to seeing. Take your bow staff, put it down in front of you. I want you to take it and bring it backwards this way. So instead of going counterclockwise how it normally would, go counterclockwise and then reset here. Practice bringing the top of your bow staff. If you need to get a little tape, you can tape it. Spinning it around, back up. Just do this a couple of times. We'll say 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, now try doing it on the other side. So I'm going to spin it this way. So remember, if I did my figure eight, it spins this way and then that way. You're going to do the opposite direction here and here. So instead of spinning it away from my head, I'm going to spin it towards my head. Top of my bow staff, towards my head, come around. 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we're going to combine these two. I'm going to go towards my head on this side, towards my head on this side, and keep it up. So towards my head, freeze, towards my head, freeze. Now if you are thinking, man, Pastor Nick, this is too easy, I already got it down, use your left hand. And speed it up, get it close to your body, right? I could probably do this for like hours on end trying to get this faster and faster. For people who don't have this down, just work on doing this slowly. I'm probably blowing your mind right now. This is something that you haven't really seen too much. We often work on bow staff, but we don't work on the basics, which is weird, right? It's like showing somebody a front kick by saying, okay, do this. And then they get it down, and then when they're a black belt, we talk about chambers, and they're like, how do we chamber? You know how to do a figure eight, but you don't know what makes up a figure eight. You don't understand the motion of it. Because we're showing a figure eight without the steps. So we're breaking that down, we're fixing it now. If you get this down even more and you are, you're fast with it, work on doing it while stepping. It's one of my favorite things to do. It's a good way to practice. All right. So that inverse figure eight, you may have got it down, you may not have it. And if you haven't, that's fine. You don't necessarily need to know it super well to understand the strike, but understand that it is part of it, right? This is our chamber for this strike up. You need this motion backwards to bring it up. So now, let's work on a regular figure eight. Now, if you haven't broken this down in your head yet, all you need to do is go outside, 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 outside. So you start here. It goes away from your head. Shh. Away from your head. Shh. And that's what a figure eight is built off of. These are our chambers. Here's our steps. Do it a little bit. Add some steps to it. Forward and backwards. Do it with your left hand, do it with your right hand. I'm not gonna break this down too slowly. If you guys were purple, green, and blue belts, I would, brown and red belts, I would, but you guys are black belts. You guys know how to do a figure eight. Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your bow staff and I want you to do your figure eights. The closer your hands are together, the better the spin that it is. My hands are out here. I'm gonna have a slower spin, but I'm gonna have more power behind it. They're here, I'm gonna have less power, but I'm gonna be able to spin faster. I don't care how you grab it, but I'm gonna have you do one figure eight. 1, 2, strike. Do this slowly with me and then we'll speed it up. Ready? Go. 1, 2, strike. That's 1, 2. Faster each time. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now you saw me adding some in there. Feel free. I'm going to give you some time to practice that, okay? Do that same motion, just spin it a little bit, and then when you're ready, strike. If you feel like that's too easy, Master Nick, I'm an expert at bow staff. My name's Nick McCoy. I've been doing it since white belt. I know everything. Add steps to it. Both backwards and forwards. Do it on your, strike on your other side. Do a figure eight here. That's gonna be confusing for some people. If it's confusing, work on it. So, work on it a little bit more. I don't see too many people chatting, but I'm gonna go check on one thing. I want you to get this down quite well. Practice it one more time. All right, okay. So now we're gonna add multiple steps to this, okay? We're gonna go around circle, and then we're gonna bring it up here. So I'm gonna go an inverse figure eight. So we just did our figure eight strike there. Now we're gonna go inverse figure eight and strike up to this shoulder strike. It's exactly like this motion, that inverse strike we were talking about earlier. So I'm going to come around, 1, 2, 3, up. Again, 1, 2, 3, up. Final time, 1, 2, 3, up. Okay, do it a couple more times. With one hand it looks something like that. You may not be able to do one hand, two hands works just as well. So you're doing this inverse figure eight, away from my head, away from my head, away from my head, continue to the strike. If you want to, you can just go 1 into it. I typically go 1, 2, 3, up. Practice this, get used to it. Thinking, Master Nick, this is too easy? Try going to the other shoulder, here, and if you got that down, add your steps, right? 1, up. 1, up, 1, up, 1, up. So, those are a couple of motions that we can do. There's a couple of motions that you guys can get used to. That's a little bit of a harder strike. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit more time with that because I know that can be hard. If you do got it down, we're going to be moving on in a couple of seconds here. Just keep practicing. Keep practicing it. We are now going to be moving on to how to combo out of those strikes. So going from here into something else. Going from here into something else. We actually already have quite a bit of strikes that we've worked on that we can combo with this. So if we wanted to practice a combo, if we wanted to make something more flashier, we can. We can. So, here's what we're going to do. Take your bow staff, grab it. I want you to choose one of those that you particularly like. We're going to build our own combo out of it. We're going to create kind of part of a musical form. If you already have a musical form, that's great. If you're a candidate, that's great. But I want you guys to practice this a bit. And maybe you can mix it up. Maybe you can add some bow staff to it. Add some different bow staff to it too. Add some flair. So choose whether you want a figure eight into a strike or an inverse figure eight into here. If you choose this one, it's a little bit more flashier. I like it quite a bit more, but it's going to go slower. This is going to go fast, and it's going to be a little bit more powerful. I don't know a good way to explain it. So, I'm here. I want you to choose that, and then do it in freeze. So you're either here or here. So from this position, either one, I want you to figure out how to get to the other armpit. Now, I don't care how you do it, but we're creating our own combo, right? It could be a helicopter, or it could just be a strike down. So I want you to add a motion, figure out how to get from there to there. That's one way. That's the second way. This is a third way. All right. So, figure it out. Once you got it, I want you to practice. I'm going to create my own, and if you guys want to copy it, you can. So I'm going to go inverse figure eight into an upward strike. Now, from this upward strike, I'm now going to choose to do, I'm going to go down helicopter, you know? I'm going to do two of those strikes. So, again, I'm going to go one, Once you got your combo, practice it a bit. We're going to be adding more onto it. Inverse figure eight, 1, 2, 3. Once you're on this elbow, the next thing that I want you to do is I want you to create some sort of fast strike. I want you to add 3 strikes, but you need to end up back on this side, or this side, depending on wherever you're landing, right? So, we switch sides. You need 3 strikes fast. Those strikes cannot repeat the 2 or 1 you've already done. Now, if you've done 1, you can do that one again, but if you've done 2, don't do the same 2. So, for example, if you go here, you can't go as your strike, right? You have to do something different. If you use a helicopter, use a helicopter again. So now that you're doing that, you're creating your combo, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to add on to mine. I do an inverse figure eight, up, down, helicopter. Now I need to add 3 fast strikes and end up on the same side. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going inverse strike, flip, diagonal down. So my full combo so far is this. I'm going double inverse figure eight, up, down, helicopter, down, here, flip, out. I know that looks a lot, but now that we're breaking it down, this looks a lot better. It's a lot easier. It's a lot smoother to get. So again, I'm going 1. Once you got your combo, practice. At first, it's not going to feel smooth, but the more you do it, the better it will feel. Ooh, I messed that up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do it one more time, and then I'm going to give you the last part of your combo. This is your own Tokyo flurry, for instance. So one more time, inverse figure eight down, helicopter down, flip out. Now from here, you need 1 or 2 moves to get to this side, and you need 1 powerful move or block to end it. Now, preferably, I like some sort of strike. I like pokes as your powerful move, but you can finish here, you can finish here, you can finish there or there. You can finish with, I say a powerful move, you could legitimately end with just a regular strike. It just needs something that needs a little bit more substance to it, that's not taking a very fast move. One thing that you can think of is just separating your hands and doing this diagonal strike, but instead of having your hand close, ending it by your hip. That may seem familiar, that's from Tokyo 2. 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3. It's that move. The only difference is it's inverse. So instead of coming with your back hand, you come with your front hand. So, you're coming up with your own Tokyo combo. You probably already finished it at this point. I'm going to add on to mine. So if you're copying me, you can do what I do. I do my inverse figure eight. I'm going to come up, down, helicopter. Inverse down, flip, here. Now I need to get back to the same armpit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, this is a difficult one. I have an inverse here. I don't want to do another helicopter. See, this is how bow staff forms are made. It's a little bit more complicated. than anybody ever gives it credit for. I'm going to do a side flip down, and I'm going to add, to finish with a poke or a strike. So my full combo would be an inverse figure 8, up, down, flip, diagonal down, side flip, poke, and end. So that's your combo. I know it wasn't a lot, but we worked on it today and we got something cool down. And if you're a second degree candidate, you can start to put it into your form. If you're a demo team member, I know Ellie was really excited for this class. I know that she may want to join demo team one day. This is something that I ask you to do quite often. So now that you have it down, I'm going to ask you to do the same thing that I've asked you to do with all these strikes and things that I've been doing in today's class. Add feet work, add movement, add stances. So I was going forward here, although you can do this diagonal or sideways. Start to think how you step on your own combo. Think about how you can implement it into a form. You know, in the Tokyo combo, their step is a cat, into your strikes, large step forward into almost like a back stance, circle back into a walking stance. And they're able to do that. It adds a lot of dynamic movement to it, and it makes it kind of like the glue of the form. It's the thing that you remember first when you think of Tokyo no Mino no Kurudai. So, come up with your combo, work on it. If you have any questions, you can add it into chat. I'm going to come up with my steps, so if you're copying me, you can do what I do. So I'm going inverse figure 8. I'm going to tuck it up. I want to make sure that I'm stepping there because it feels smoother to bring this motion forward with my foot. 1, 2, 3. Then as I do this helicopter, I want to do that same kind of sweeping motion here. So doing more of a C step forward. Now I feel like I'm adding a lot of forward motion to this, so I'm going to add a step back when I do this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I accidentally. Now I'm going to step forward and stack. So my whole combo would be this. I do my inverse figure 8. I come up. I step down, and as I come around, I do this helicopter motion there. Onto this side. I go 1, 2. Step back, 1, 2. Oh, I know what I messed up there. I'm thinking, why was this so off? So I'm here, 1, 2, helicopter around. I'm going to step back as I do this, 1, 2, step back, 3, 4. Now I'm going to step forward. I forgot that middle section. 1, 2, step. So that's why I like having people in class so they can correct me. They can call me out. So, one more time, I'm going to do my section. You guys keep practicing with your own little combos, your own forms. I'm here. I'm going to step forward. There. Strike down, helicopter forward. Now, I'm going to go 1, 2, and then on these next 2 ones, I'm going to step back. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'm going to step and strike. If you're creating your own creative form, that's your first sequence. Once you get that down, you add a couple of flair to it, you add a couple of kicks to it, and you've got a good section of your form almost done. I love bow staff, but I know it's not always everybody's favorite. I know it's not everybody's favorite thing to do, and I get that some people don't even like jelly bean weeks. But I want to thank you guys for still being here, still watching me, and going through this class. It is a fun one, and it is important to know. Even if you don't like bow staff, one day you're going to have to do it, whether it be in Tokyo, whether it be a part of our basics. Little spoiler for the people who are still here, that's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 rotations. And the more familiar you are with it, the more easier it is for you guys to come up with these combos, start working on this movement. The more in tune and the better you'll be at learning forms and strikes with this. The people who don't learn these things, trust me, it takes a lot longer. Their Tokyo doesn't look as good. So, thank you guys for being here. Otherwise than that, I want to end class just by doing your combo one final time, and I want you to put intensity into it. So, let's try this out. Face me, Chariot, Kunye. Face the direction that you're going to be doing this combo. If it's to the side and you start here, that's fine. But face where you need to go. And go. Step up. Hiya. Chariot. Kunye, bow. Take a deep breath in, deep breath out. Hands behind your back. I want you guys to end class with a loud key up, with a loud bang here, okay? What's our goal? Black belt, excellent, sir. Air high fives, you are free to go.